Today we're making a traditional Maltese soup called Kawlata using a ham hock. We use local pork, and I'm also using some Maltese sausage and the vegetables that are seasonal right now. What is important for the soup is some pumpkin or butternut squash. I'm using a variety of fresh garlic and fresh onion that is seasonal right now. We've got some cabbage, some cauliflower, and then I'm going to jazz it up with some more trendy vegetables like sweet potato and kale. Important also is a bit of kohlrabi, in Maltese jidra, and we're also going to add some turmeric, fresh turmeric. We're going to have a look at the recipe. For our Kawlata Maltese vegetable soup with ham hock, we need one ham hock, which is usually smoked, but you can also find it unsmoked at the butcher's, one Maltese sausage, 2 stock pots, half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, 1 bay leaf, some fresh flat leaf parsley, 100 grams of cooked favetta or split yellow peas, 75 grams of cooked small pasta. We also need some zest of about 1/4 of a lemon, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, some salt and pepper. We also need a fresh seasonal onion and garlic. When those are not available, we can use the traditional ones. 250 grams of pumpkin or butternut squash, 1 kohlrabi, which is the purple vegetable known as jidra, 1/4 of a fresh fennel bulb, 4 carrots chopped up, half a cabbage, half a cauliflower, 1 small potato, 1 large sweet potato chopped up with the skin on, and 4 kale leaves. We are going to roast 2 of those kale leaves and garnish our soup at the very end with them. And the 2 other kale leaves, we'll remove the stalk in the middle and chop them up. A pinch of fresh turmeric, or you can use some turmeric powder and juice of half a lemon. And that's the recipe for Kawlata with the very rich Maltese vegetable soup. I'm going to start with our ham hock, and I've got some water here, a big pot full of water, no salt for now, because this is quite salty in itself, it's been smoked, and I'm just going to chuck this into the water, bring it to boil, and then simmer it for about half an hour to an hour, depending on how much time you have. But the more time that it cooks, the softer the meat is. I'm taking my Maltese sausage and piercing it all over. And all I need to do is place it in the microwave for about 7 minutes, just to drain all the oils off. I'm taking 2 bits of kale and putting them as they are in the oven, just to crisp off and garnish the soup right at the very end. I've got my cooked ham hock, which I'm keeping aside. I've also got my stock, which I've kept aside from boiling that ham hock. My pot is on a hot stove, and I'm putting some olive oil to start off my recipe. And to that, I'm adding some fennel seeds. The big job is to chop up all the vegetables into small cubes. To my pot, I'm adding some fresh garlic and onions. I'm also adding my carrots, kohlrabi, and some pumpkin or butternut squash. To this, I'm adding some stock pots. I'm using garden vegetables. Next goes the shredded cabbage and some sweet potatoes. At this point, I'm going to add my stock, which we got from our ham hock. Some tomato puree. One of the most important ingredients that is added to Maltese broths and soups is the celery, local celery. I'm adding the leaves whole, and before serving I can just pick the leaves and put them aside. I'm adding my cauliflower. It's best to do this right at the very end because it might get too mushy. Some fresh turmeric. Just a very little. And if it's very fresh, you can grate it with the skin on. I've chopped up 2 leaves from my fresh kale, and I'm going to add these to my pot. My pot has started to boil, so I'm adding my cooked favetta. My small pasta bits. Lemon zest. Some pepper and salt. And I'm going to leave it to simmer for about 25 minutes. In the meantime, I've got my cooked hock and my Maltese sausage that has diminished in size because we've cooked it in the microwave. I'm cutting up this hock, removing some of the fat, and then adding small bits to my soup as a garnish. I'm also going to use some roasted kale as a garnish and some fresh parsley. My soup is now finished and I'm just giving it a final stir. And we're ready to serve it. I'm finishing off my soup. It smells of fennel and fresh vegetables, and it smells really hearty and wholesome. I'm finishing off with some pieces of ham hock and some Maltese sausage. I'm going to grate some more lemon. And finish off with some parsley. Some parsley and some roasted kale. I hope you'll try my recipe for Maltese Kawlata. See you soon.